Yo, what is going on, guys? Got a story for you here today titled, "Found out my pregnant wife was not having my baby, so I immediately divorced her." Now, before we jump into this, you'll have to excuse me. I am losing my voice covering all of this nonsense, okay? So here we have a situation where a woman is clearly having a child to an affair partner, probably somebody that she's cheated with, and like many other women, what they try and do in this situation is they try and make the husband that they are with take care of a kid that is not his own. I personally think that this should be illegal, guys. I think that women should face legal consequences for doing this. I think that paternity fraud should be taken very seriously, but unfortunately it's not, okay? Men are told to just man up, deal with it, all of these sorts of things, even though it is incredibly damaging to do this to somebody, okay? Now, before we jump into today's episode, a lot of you guys have been asking me where are the TikTok videos where I cover ranting crazy women over on TikTok, and I just wanted to announce that for the time being, they will be on my second channel, which I have linked in the pinned comment. So if that interests you, if you like that type of content, if you miss it over here on the main channel, make sure you go and check out the second channel where I will be doing near daily videos for the time being. Again, linked in the pinned comment. Make sure you go and check it out. So let's jump into this story here. A 33-year-old man shares how his seemingly perfect marriage came crashing down after discovering that his pregnant wife was carrying another man's child. I love how in all of these stories, by the way, let me just point this out. The dudes always think that they have a perfect marriage. They swear that there are no red flags. And to be honest, it's because the men don't usually want to see the red flags. They refuse to look. I can sit here, I can point them out all day, but oftentimes dudes just don't want to see it, man. And it's not until something very bad happens to them that they start to pay attention. That's the unfortunate truth of it. Let's jump into it. He says, "I'm a 33-year-old male, and my now ex-wife is a 31-year-old female. We were married for just under 4 years, together for 6. I thought our relationship was solid. The communication was decent, intimacy was regular, and we shared the same long-term goals. At least, that's what I thought. She worked in event planning, I worked in IT. See, guys, I've noticed a lot of this, by the way, right, is a lot of these men, they tend to work in, like, you know, computer areas, right? IT, whatever the case may be, and women tend to work in some sort of design area, you know, crap like that. And the thing is, women understand that if they're going to marry a guy, they want to marry a guy that's stable, right? So marrying a guy that works in IT or marrying a guy that works in finance, these guys, especially if they're somewhat successful, often become targets for women who are trying to rush out having kids. Right, who are approaching their 30s and they're like, "Oh, I need to get married now. I need to have kids." And so guys who work in IT, guys who work in finance or have really kind of solid jobs in fields that are solid, these guys become targets. So we both had good jobs. We owned a house in a quiet neighborhood and had been trying for a baby for almost a year. When she finally told me that she was pregnant, I cried, literally cried. I felt like we were entering the next chapter of our life. If only I knew. So this dude thought he was going to be a father, right? The first couple of months after the pregnancy announcement felt normal. He was emotional, of course, but I chalked it up to hormones. She started getting more protective of her phone, though. Not necessarily suspicious, just different. She also began working late more often than usual. When I asked about it, she would get defensive. She would say, "I am pregnant and I am tired. Do you want me to lose my job?" So I backed off. I didn't want to stress her out. But in hindsight, that's when I should have trusted my gut. And every time we hear men talk about their guts, guys, right, it's like dudes refuse to trust their gut. Okay? Even when in their head, logically, they understand that this is very concerning. Okay? You have a wife who is getting defensive, who is hiding her phone, you know, who refuses to answer where she is, for example, who starts staying really late but refuses to elaborate on what she's actually doing. Okay, this is just common. Like, this should just be filed under regular communication. You know, you ask your wife where she is, and if she gets defensive, Why on earth would she get defensive? Like, let's use our logic for a moment, guys. Like, there's nothing that's typically going to be good. Stress doesn't cause you to get defensive of where you were if you have no reason to get defensive. You know, especially considering this seems like something that is pervasive, right? Not just a one-time issue. He has probably asked her this multiple times and she got defensive multiple times. So it's not just having a bad day type deal, you know? So the DNA test wasn't my idea, it was hers. This is still the part that messes with me. She actually suggested that we do a DNA test just for fun to add to the baby book. She said that she saw it on TikTok. Okay, so there's the problem. The woman has TikTok. This application, I'm sorry guys, I have to stop here for a moment. TikTok is a terrible application. I would know, guys, because I frequently cover the women who are over there, okay? And unfortunately, a lot of the advice that is given to women is quite literally designed to ruin their lives. It really is, especially surrounding dating and marriage and things like this, man. Like, you have women out here lying to other women in record numbers. It's insane. So she said, it will be cool to show the baby how much of us they have, she said. I didn't think twice. I ordered a home paternity kit and we sent it in. And then the results came back. About 3 weeks later, the results arrived while she was out. I opened the email, still smiling, but the smile did not last. There was no probability of paternity. I sat there numb, I read it again, and I triple checked it, and I made sure that I hadn't swapped the samples or messed anything up. The baby was not mine, he says. When she got home, I didn't say anything right away. I waited, I watched her, I wondered if she'd sensed that I knew. Later that night, I simply said we got the DNA test results and she froze. Her mouth opened like she wanted to lie, then she just broke. She sat down and said, I didn't think it would matter once we were a family. Oh my goodness. So it's another one of these clowns. Guys, it's another one of these women, right, who think that the dude is going to stick around. That this isn't that big of a deal. Ridiculous is all I have to say about this man. Ridiculous. So the assumption here, okay, is that the man is just going to look after a kid that is not his own because they are quote unquote a family. But this woman is so dense that she doesn't understand that this guy is not part of the family biologically. He, by definition, is not actually part of the family. Okay? And it's all, guys, I said this on the last similar story that was something like this, right? It's all very well and good for women to say this because they know that their DNA is there. You know, it's very easy for them to say, oh, you should just trust me, for example, or, oh, but we're just one big family, you know? But the thing is, the man's not part of the family. You have the DNA that is given to the child. The man does not. The fact that this is not understood, this woman must be missing like some large segment of her brain. Goodness me, man. Goodness me. Apparently she had a slip. A slip. Is that what the kids are calling it these days? A slip. Apparently she had a slip during her work conference about a month before we got the positive test. She blamed alcohol, said she never saw the guy again. She thought the baby was mine. She just didn't want to admit that there was a chance that it wasn't. That sentence made me see red. Finally, a man who actually gets frustrated. you know what I mean, guys? Like, I'm so sick of hearing these stories, and these guys are like, yeah, you know, I remained calm. I didn't get angry. And in my head, I'm like, wow, this would aggravate the hell out of me. I don't even know how the dudes hold it together realistically. I'm glad that they do, don't get me wrong, because their lives will be ruined if they exert too much emotion. But, you know, to say that, you know, you're not angry is crazy. But this guy, he sees red. I didn't yell, didn't cause anything. I calmly told her that she could stay with her sister until she figured out what to do. She begged me not to leave her in this condition. I told her she had no problem sleeping with another dude in that condition, so she could figure it out now too. I filed for divorce the next morning. That is a speed run and a half. My lawyer expedited the process. I attached the DNA results. I made it clear I was not responsible for the child in any way. She tried to spin it to her family and friends and said that I abandoned her while she was pregnant left out the part where the baby wasn't mine. Her sister texted me some vile things calling me heartless, and I sent her a screenshot of the results, and I never heard from her again. By the way, guys, I love how women do this, okay? This happens so incredibly often, guys, right? You'll be a guy, okay? The woman will completely screw you over. You'll break up with the woman, and then you'll receive a text like this where you get, like, you know, her friend or her sister will message you and say some vile crap, right? I guarantee you a bunch of you watching this right now, this has happened to you, okay? And then they never apologize when they realize that the woman was the psycho one. Okay, so for example, in this situation, the sister got notified that the kid was not even his, and she didn't apologize or say anything after texting the vile things to him. You see how that works? I guarantee you there is a bunch of you watching this video right now where this exact same thing has happened to you, and they never apologize, they never take accountability. Hilarious, isn't it? The divorce went through faster than I expected. No kids, no shared businesses, and I had proof of infidelity. She did not fight it. I made sure that there was no obligation on my part, financial or otherwise, for that child. I even had the paperwork notarized in case she came back later. So this guy, again, got away fairly luckily, in my opinion, right? Because again, if you indicate that you are responsible for this child, guys, it can get real messy real fast. A lot of these women, they try and get these dudes to sign things where they are taking legal responsibility for the kids so that they can be on the hook for things like child support. Guys, never sign crap like that. Be very damn cautious. As far as I've also heard stories of women trying to do this at the hospital when they conceive. So just be very careful about this sort of stuff. Guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.